So yeah, I remember feeling numb. I remember tears were going down my face, but I was numb. I felt like I was just going through a tunnel. It was just weird, this weird thing happening. So after the ultrasound, we drove back to my OBGYN to have a discussion about what next. By the time we had arrived, he'd already gotten the report from Medanta, and now we began the discussion of how do we get the baby out of my womb, because they call it a missed abortion, a missed miscarriage, where there's no bleeding or any sign of miscarriage. The baby just dies and stays in the womb. So you either have to go for, it's called there's a DNC, which is a dilation in, gosh, I can never say that second name. It's a weird name. In your DNC, where you go under anesthesia and go into theater and have the baby removed, or the second choice is to take drugs and you have a medical miscarriage. So the first time we went through this, it was a DNC. I was under anesthesia. I didn't feel anything. Baby was removed. I woke up. I had cramps for a few days, but it was hard. But I think a medical miscarriage is something I was not prepared for at all. The reason he chose this one, even though I was hoping for anesthesia, is he said at 6 weeks the baby is still small and it can easily pass without any, complications. So he was advising us to do the medical one. So we decided to trust his judgment, and he prescribed the drugs, and we went home. So I remember I was supposed to take one drug that day, one pill, and then take Cytotec after 48 hours. So when I took the first pill, nothing happened. I mean, I was not bleeding or anything. I kept waiting to bleed. So 2 days later, we took the Cytotec. I took the Cytotec. I remember it was around midnight, because I had to take it exactly 48 hours. And let me tell you, I was not ready for that. I think we just I don't know what we were expecting, but it was not what happened. Because I remember we took the pill and we went to bed. And I was woken up a few minutes later with extreme pain. In extreme pain, I felt contractions. The doctor told me to expect cramps like the ones you have when you're having your menstrual period. It was nothing like that. It felt exactly how I felt when I gave birth to Taji, like labor pains, and I could not believe it. I was like, gosh, how cruel can this situation be? Like, how can I be having labor pains for a baby that I won't even see or have? Anyway, so I woke up my husband and we basically stayed up the whole night, because I started bleeding, and I even had a running stomach, and I had to keep going back and forth to the loo, and that was part of the process as well. So then my body now started shedding the baby. Yeah, there were blood clots, and it was something I'm not going to forget for a while. And eventually the pain stopped at 5. I remember it was 5 in the morning. I felt something pass, like a bigger clot than usual. Like I called it a blob, because I felt it coming out. And when I looked, I saw a small figure. I could tell it was the baby. And I looked at it. I felt so sad. I was like, oh, that's a baby we'll never get to see. Or, so I told my husband, he also saw it, and we just went back to bed and tried to catch a few winks, because we'd stayed up the whole night. So that's what happened. That's what a medical miscarriage is like. I'd looked for information online to prepare myself, but it wasn't there. I think if you've not gone through it, it's hard to understand or even try and even empathize with someone. But yeah, God gave us the strength, and somehow I managed to survive without losing my mind. And yeah, so that's what happened. We had a second miscarriage, so we lost our baby, and the bleeding continued for a couple more days, maybe about a week after, and then now everything has gone back to normal, I believe. So that's where I'm at. So yeah, that's what happened, and let's just continue talking and let's see where this conversation will go, because honestly at this point I'm just pouring out my heart. So thanks for listening. This is just a mom.